So I thought, and then I guess battling, there was more at stake in those days with battling than there is right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where you want to battle, you stood to get a record label deal, so on and so. It's not like that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think that speaks to that tells you a lot about today's MCs.
Okay.
Who's worthy of battling? He said, guys. He said the people in the top. Remember how he wrote for the top 10? Mm-hmm. He said people now. It's like they're not even willing to battle to begin with. That's not even how they get out.
Right.
It's so corporate now. But go ahead.
Well, first of all, like I said about the whole thing with Nelly, and I'll tell you that this thing about KRS-One that kind of confused me back in the day. That and Nelly might have even brought this up. That when KRS was coming up, his whole thing was like, we're taking over. This is what it is. Blah blah blah. You're old school artists. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? But one day I'm going to be the old school artist, and I'm going to have to step aside. Okay. That's what he used to say in his lyrics. But now I think Nelly was the one who was saying, okay, well look, KRS-One needs to step aside. Mm-hmm. Well, obviously, and that just goes. I mean,
look at Nelly's career right now.
Yeah, but and it's. I'm not saying anything. I mean, Nelly has his opinion. I'm not gonna say anything about Nelly as an MC or whatever. But I mean, to me, it almost seemed blasphemous for somebody to even come out of their mouth about KRS-One. Now, going back to the point before about why would KRS-One even care? I mean, I almost still feel that way. I mean, but look at who's KRS. Okay, when he was going up against Shan back in the day, now that made a lot of sense. No, then he started beefing with who? PM Dawn?
Well, the PM Dawn thing was because apparently PM Dawn, not to go too much into the history, a lot of you guys know if you don't know, PM Dawn at one time was this really, really
easy listening hip hop.
Well, easy listening, and they were, like all.
Rap music. It wasn't
all of this emo hip hop you're hearing right now actually was done by PM Dawn back in the day. It's funny you mention that. Because a lot of, even though it was like dated for that time in the mid-90s, if you update a lot of their sound, it would actually sell today. Because you can hear a lot of that emotional, call it emo, hip-hop right now. That's what they did back in the 90s. So, but the problem was in the 90s, things were just way too rugged. I mean, we was in our baggy jeans and our Timbs in the 90s. We weren't trying to be soft. No, soft. S-O-F. Soft.
Soft.
That's soft. That's not what it was. Well, anyways, point is that PM Dawn was in a magazine saying that like a lot of kids say now, he's no real teacher of hip hop. Who does he think he is? Blah blah, so on and so forth. So KRS-One went up there with the notion of saying, well, let me battle these cats and shut them up. You know what I'm saying? Then they instead of battling, they try to get their men together to step to him on the physical, and he had his boys. Next thing you know, this fiasco ensued.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, that's totally ridiculous to me. And why would even KRS-One even care or compare himself to that? Even if they did come out their mouth on some stuff. I mean, hey, he's KRS-One. They are PM Dawn. That's like Freeway going to a Justin Bieber concert and mad because something that he said.
Some of it is you are who you are.
I suppose.
I mean, because KRS-One is just that guy. He's equal parts battle. I mean, that's why he's not. You see, even though he wouldn't mess with Supernet, bottom line is KRS-One. One of the reasons why we think he's the greatest of all time because he's extremely strong in all facets of MCing.
Right.
That's just what he is. So, and part of it, to me, part of his strength is the fact that he's going to fight you, no matter what. He's going to take that up. He ain't gonna let you do it. Whereas Jay-Z, and this is nothing against Jay-Z at all, but Jay-Z has an air about him where he's beyond certain things. You know what I'm saying? Getting back to another point you made about how it's blasphemous to go at KRS-One. KRS-One, because of the type of MC he is, lends himself to being attacked by other MCs if they're willing to do that. To me, the only group, that's always really been blasphemous to attacking hip-hop, but maybe two people. The only two people in hip-hop where I would say blasphemy would be. Okay. It'd probably be Public Enemy because of what they meant, and the God MC Rakim. I think you kind of leave those guys alone, let them be who they are. Okay. You know what I'm saying? You don't go attack them because because they don't really lend themselves to battle. Chuck D from Public Enemy was, this is like I'm fighting the power, so on and so forth. I mean, they had at the time, if there was any political clout to be had from a hip hop perspective, they had it. That was Public Enemy. I would never, even when Public Enemy started getting a little bit wacky, especially from a beat perspective in the mid '90s, you still let Public Enemy do what they do. Okay. And by the way, Public Enemy, I say whack, but you check out their live shows today, it's still bananas. Yeah, it's crazy. Still bananas. It's crazy. But anyways,
what I wanted to say was, Do you think back in the day that KRS-One would have said what he said about Super Nat? Like, we're going to go back to like maybe 94, 95. Do you think that they think that KRS-One is going to say, well, I'm not going to step to Super Nat? It seems like the older KRS-One gets, I mean, I've always loved to hear KRS-One speak. And it just seems like maybe the older he gets, the more open he gets.
We all do. Me and you do that, right?
True.
There's certain things that I admit about myself now I wouldn't admit years ago. Okay? I wouldn't have said it. You know, a part of it is, as we get older, we recognize our own mortality. That's part of it. That's with anybody, right? We look back at some of the things we probably could have done differently. And we say it because we recognize as the older we get, the less it's about us and more it's about what it is you can do to be a blessing, if you will, to other people. So if I'm KRS-One and I'm saying, well, you know what, I wish I wouldn't have done that. That way somebody else won't be as stupid as I was back in them days. Then I'm going to go ahead and say it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's with everybody. Okay. Where we all get that introspective thing about us once we start getting older. You know what I mean? Looking at things or taking what I call a 40,000-foot view of every situation before you actually act on it. Where you're younger, you're just acting. And then sometimes when you act hard, sometimes you get great results. Other times you get some regretful results. And I think that's part of what you get with him. No, to answer your question directly though, there's no way I think that KRS-One after the incident would have said that his incident with PM Dawn, him acting like that in a buffoonish type of way, which is essentially what that was, he wouldn't have admitted it, certainly not publicly.
Right.
You know, but now it's like, okay, I'm older, I'm putting it out there because I don't want to see anybody else do what I just did.
Right. Well, he does really pride himself on being knowledgeable about life in general, and you know, he teaches at college, he speaks at colleges, but the one thing he did in this interview was he broke down a lot of things about really briefly how to work the system. Okay, he says you can work the system, you can work you can work the school system, you can work record labels, but you have to learn how to do that. You need the knowledge of it. You know what I'm saying? You have to, work everything to make it work for you. Learn. Yes, exactly. And that's one of the things that KRS-One has always preached ever since my philosophy, and that's why I love KRS-One.
Well, he also talked about how the record industry, as well as college, is a scam. Now, and I think that you mentioned that scam was a strong word.
It is.
And my perspective was, well, because it's KRS-One talking, and you're expected to kind of look deeply, because you go into it knowing that this guy's a deep thing. You ain't got to agree with him, but you can't say that he don't think deeply. It is what it is. Point of the matter is
very deeply
that he said scam because if you actually looking at what he says, he makes sense. He said, yeah, it's a scam, but listen to what it is and the reason why I say what I'm saying. He knows that your job is to go in there, to know the system, have bad things happen to you. Then once you know, you can go and pimp the system as opposed to getting pimped. Said it with college. If you would have heard scam before college is a scam before you actually listened to what he was saying about it, you would have thought, okay, now KRS-One is really tripping. He's saying you don't need education now. Nah, I know he's tripping. That's not what he's saying. He said, go ahead and do what you got to do, but get that knowledge and understand what everything is, then come and recognize that, colleges is a business too. You know what I mean? Get yours, come back, and pimp the system as opposed to getting pimped. I don't want to go into detail about literally what it is because you got to see the interview, and I urge you to go and check. We have it posted on our Facebook page. But the point of the matter is, if you're into something like that, you know that these things that it's a scam, it's not for you. The job for you is to recognize what it is and then go forward with that knowledge that it is what it is.
Right.
That makes any sense.
Right. It makes a lot. Actually, you were making a lot of sense. And I mean, KRS-One, obviously we're going to have our differences about what he says. I mean, we don't always agree with what KRS-One says. But yeah, do yourself a favor. Check out that interview. It's on our Facebook page. Go to Cipher Crew on Facebook. And don't forget to hit us up on our email account, which is kidandmuff44@gmail.com. Also, don't forget that we got the Cipher Wars
coming up.
Cyphies, baby. Cyphies coming up very shortly. Some of y'all was asking us about it. We haven't forgotten about it. We're just taking our time to make sure that we do it right. We want to give everybody justice. There was a lot of music to go through. Y'all was sending us a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff out there, a lot of underground stuff, a lot of stuff that we had to do. And, plus we have jobs on top of this, too. So
True.
So we don't have all day to do this stuff. So we are working on it, and we'll be coming within like the next couple weeks. So y'all just please be patient. But it is coming.
All right.
So, Muff, in conclusion, and about this whole KRS-One thing, do you ever think anybody's going to take that place of KRS-One?
Well, who are the future KRSs? That's.
I mean, the first
who would be there? Okay.
And okay, I'm going to let you go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna give you some candidates. Let me take some time.
Okay, all right, hold on a second. Y'all write this down. The next KRS-One. Okay, KRS-One is the president of hip hop right now.
He's the president.
He's the president of hip hop.
Who could be future presidents? I'm gonna say it.
Okay, go ahead.
Possibly Lil Wayne.
Really?
I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay, wow.
Because number one, Lil Wayne. Well, say what you want to about him. He is a sharp dude.
Yes, he is.
Very sharp.
Very sharp.
I've seen him. I'm a sports guy, right? I see him on ESPN giving opinions about different things and having opinions about that. He could be that guy.
Okay.
And I'm just got to speak of the younger people. I can't say Jay Electronica because he's an older MC. You know, maybe that's a newer voice. You know, he's gonna. You know, that could be a guy. Your comments don't really count because he's an older MC.
Yeah, older guy.
I mean, dude, who out there could really articulate? Well, you know, you can't even say Eminem because Eminem is just so dang introverted about it.
Yeah, he can't. He can't be the president.
In fact,
he can't be the president. You know, as much as I love Eminem, he can't be the president of hip hop. He can't speak for hip hop.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
No, that's not him. Good, gifted as he is, that's not his lane.
Yeah,
I'm hard pressed to find somebody who would be able to be that spokesperson for hip hop that can, number one, be well respected. Number two, go and give these interviews at colleges on a regular, make you think, even though you may or may not agree with what their perspective is. That's why I felt some type of way about people saying, "Oh, KRS-One is not all blah 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 blah." Dude, okay, give me somebody else who you think should be representation of hip hop in that way.
Right.
You know, who would be able to articulate what hip hop is and why it's important with the history. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the biggest issues too. Don't go off, say this, that, and the third about hip hop, what you like or don't like. Know your history too, though. Know that perspective. You know what I'm saying? I can't go and start dissing our government without knowing what the history of our government is.
True.
I can't do it. I should know these things because if I talk about the government without really knowing the historical backdrop of really what our government is about and what its history is, I run the risk of sounding ignorant. It's a risk. Not to say that you guys who disagree with KRS-One are ignorant. I don't mean it like that, so don't take it personal. But I'm just saying that when you comment on these things and when you look for that next hip-hop guy to be that spokesperson that you and I laid out, that person should have a great knowledge of the history of hip-hop. And that's the only gripe I have with a lot of young people is that they don't seem to have that knowledge or that history. They don't know their history. They speak to it from the perspective of now. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
You know, the first name that pops into my head when you talk about, you know, succeeding KRS-One, Lupe Fiasco. He's the first one he's the first one that pops into my head.
I like that. 'Cause I didn't think about that. I did not think about
Fiasco.
that. I would say Lupe. Don't now. Let me give Lupe a strike though.
Oh, he's got a strike.
I got a strike on Lupe.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I really like Lupe Fiasco, but I think I loved him at one point. This is what happened for me.
Okay.
Now you know the style of music Lupe Fiasco makes. How are you gonna get up there on the hip hop honors and they give you the song that you supposed to do? It should be Electric Relaxation. All right, that's like your whole Nick 9-Tribe Quest. That's what your lane is.
I forgot.
And you don't know the words, and when you get challenged on it, you say, "Well, I ain't know that I was in the gangster rap." Strike one.
Okay.
And two for my right. I mean, come on,
nobody's perfect.
Come on, dude.
Nobody's perfect.
No, that was whack. That was whack.
And Tribe, those are your boys. So you.
No, not even. Yeah, but okay.
You were personally offended.
Yes, I was.
You were personally
aside from me being offended, his style of music is that of Tribe. I don't care what anybody say. He's an updated version. That's what he is. Had there been no Tribe Called Quest, probably not a Lupe Fiasco the way we look at him right now.
Okay.
Imagine Lupe Fiasco making gangster rap.
Well, obviously Lupe that wouldn't be right.
Exactly. That's my point. That wasn't that guy. Lupe, that's the only issue I have with him, man. And I think he needs to get out there and apologize. Apologize. That's per South Park and Jesse Jackson.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, that was my gripe with it. But I think he is a well-spoken individual. Most Def for that fact could be that. But then the issue with but here's the problem though.
Okay.
I love Most Def. Sometimes Most Def, you know, I hear him on Bill Maher. He's a very deep thinker. It could be Most Def, but Most Def has got his, you know,
well,
he's an older MC now.
I mean, if you look at it that,
older MC now.
Talib could be
older MC now.
Yeah, but they are older.
You know, I mean, that's still our generation of hip hoppers. I'm looking for that next young cat. Heck, Wayne about to be 30. I think he is 30 now.
is he that old?
I don't know.
He's been in the game for a minute.
How old is Lil Wayne? Anyway.
Question mark.
Yeah, really, right? I should have spoken upspeak, so you guys, how old is Lil Wayne? And that way you know that there's a question. But, upspeak, yeah.
Upspeak. Anyway, do you have anything else for the people?
No, I'm good, man. Just make sure y'all check out the Ciphers that are coming out. We're going to be back on it. We just want to have us a little discussion, go back to how we get on. These are the type of discussion we usually have off camera and talk about these things. We go there, but we want to do it on you know, tape it again, you know what I'm saying? Just keep it moving. But we really appreciate you guys listening to us talk about and be these big know-it-alls in hip-hop who we think we are, so on and so forth. It's all good. We just love doing it. We are blessed to have an outlet to be able to go and express the way we feel about certain things. It's just our opinion, man. Don't mean it's fact. That's just the way we feel.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's fact. Don't forget, get him up 44@gmail.com. Also hit us up on Facebook. We are the Cipher Crew. Twitter coming very soon. And why? The Cipher said so, son. Peace.
Peace.